そんなに働いてばかりいないで、たまには旅行にでも行った方がいいよ。みなさん、こんにちは。Welcome back to NihonGoal. 元気ですか? I hope you're doing well. This is part 2 of Minna No Nihongo Intermediate Lesson 6. In this lesson, we will learn about the following grammar points. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check out part 1 of this lesson. はい、準備できたら始めましょう。Our next grammar point is 何々てばかりいる or 何々ばかり何々ている。So this means only, just, or does nothing but 何々. This indicates that an action is performed repeatedly or habitually and that the speaker is critical or not happy with it or dissatisfied with it. We first learned about bakari from lesson 46. We use this as nani nani ta bakari, meaning that someone just finished doing an action. For example, 今食べたばかりです。I just ate. Another example, 退院したばかりなので、まだスポーツはできません。I just got out from the hospital, so I can't play sports. How do we use this pattern? We have the verb in te form, and then we attach bakari iru. This means to do nothing but verb. We can also use this with a noun. So we have two patterns. The second pattern is noun bakari plus teiru. So meaning to do just the noun. So let's take a look at some examples. For example, this cat just sleeps all day. Or this cat does nothing but sleep all day. So we say, この猫は一日中. Our verb is to sleep or 寝る. So we change this to te form, which is 寝て plus ばかりいる. この猫は一日中寝てばかりいる. Another example, my younger brother doesn't play outside, and all he does is read comic books. 弟は外で遊ばないで. So he doesn't play outside, and いつも漫画を. Our verb is to read. 読む, which is 読んで in te form. So 読む becomes 読んで plus ばかりいる. 弟は外で遊ばないでいつも漫画を読んでばかりいる. Or we can use the second pattern where we attach bakari next to the noun, which is manga. So we can say いつもmanga, then we remove the particle o and replace that with bakari. Only manga. いつも漫画ばかり読んでいる. いつも漫画ばかり読んでいる. Another example, my son does nothing but play games. So he doesn't study, he doesn't do house chores, etc. 息子はいつもゲームを, so our verb is する for play, ゲームをして plus ばかりいる. 息子はいつもゲームをしてばかりいる. Or ゲームばかりしている. 息子はいつもゲームばかりしている. Another example. Don't just work so much. You better go on a trip or something once in a while. So here the speaker is telling the listener not to just work, but also have fun once in a while. So don't just work so much or like that. そんなに. Our verb is to work, 働く, which becomes 働いて plus ばかり. Since we want to say don't, so we change いる to いない. 働いてばかりいないで. So like giving command, like しないで, ばかりいないで. たまには旅行にでも行った方が いいよ。そんなに働いてばかりいないで、たまには旅行にでも行った方がいいよ。And last example, what advice would you give to a student who doesn't study and just play, or who does nothing but play? 全然勉強しないで、いつも our verb is to play. 遊ぶ becomes 遊んで plus ばかりいる。全然勉強しないで、いつも遊んでばかりいる。So we are describing a student using this pattern. So describing a noun. So to a student who doesn't study but just play. どんなアドバイスを言いますか or あげますか So what advice would you tell or give to a student? 全然勉強しないでいつも遊んでばかりいる学生にどんなアドバイスを言いますか Our next grammar point is 何々とか何々 meaning X, Y, and so on, or things like X and Y. So this is just used to enumerate things or nouns. We first learned about this pattern from lesson 36. A とか B とか So meaning A or B or things like A and B and so on. For example, 健康のために走るとかウェイトトレーニングとかをやっています。I do things such as running and weight training for my health. So how do we use this pattern? So before we can just add it to nouns like noun とか noun とか. This time we can use it with full sentences. All we have to do is change the sentence in plain form and then we add とか. So plain sentence 1 とか plain sentence 2 とか. And then followed by the information. So let's take a look at some examples. For example, A and B are talking. A says, I want to lose weight. How should I go about it? 痩せたいんです。どうしたらいいですか? B says, you should do something like swimming or jogging every day. 毎日, so our first tip is swimming. 水泳をする. 水泳をする. Again, we change this to plain form. とか, and then the next is jogging. ジョギングをする plus とかすればいいですよ。毎日水泳をするとかジョギングをするとかすればいいですよ。So again, we change this two into plain form. Another example. A and B are still talking. Japanese people don't say things like, I love you or you look nice to their families or lovers, right? 日本人は家族や恋人に I love you is 愛している愛してるとか You look nice 素敵だよとか言いませんね。日本人は家族や恋人に愛してるとか素敵だよとか言いませんね。B says, well, young people these days say it. いや、最近の若い人は言いますよ。Another example. If you like him so much, how about try talking to him more? Or making something for him, and so on. そんなに彼が好きなら、もっと話しかける。So, try talking to him more. So, もっと話しかけるとか、making something for him is 何かを作ってあげるとか、してみたら、そんなに彼が好きなら、もっと話しかけるとか、何か作ってあげるとかしてみたら So how about doing this and this for him? Next is 何々ていく or 何々てくる So meaning the verb is either going away from the speaker or coming towards the speaker. When we use nani nani te kuru, it shows that the direction of the motion or the action is towards where the speaker is. On the other hand, if it's te iku, it means that the action or the motion is going away from where the speaker is. So first, let's review some of the expressions we've learned. So you know the verb te iku, meaning to do something and then go somewhere. For example, katte iku, so to buy something and then go somewhere. We can also use this with kuru, verb te kuru. For example, katte kuru, meaning I will buy something first and then come back. We've also learned about verbs such as motte iku, meaning to take something. And we've also learned motte kuru, meaning to bring something. Another one is tsurete iku, to take someone along. And tsurete kuru, meaning to bring someone along. So how do we use this pattern? We just need to use the verb in te form, and then we can add either iku or kuru. So using this concept, we will look at some examples on how to use nani nani te iku and nani nani te kuru. For example, the customers are leaving or walking out from the store. So imagine you are seeing people or the customers at this moment walking outside the shop or walking out from the shop. So we say, okyakusama ga. The verb is to go out. So we use the verb deru. So we change this to te form, which is dete. So from the speaker's point of view, they are going away. So we say dete iku. So okyakusama ga dete iku. So the customers right now, currently, are walking out or going out from the store. If we say that the customers left or went out from the store or walked out from the store, we say okyakusama ga dete itta. So we use the past tense. So if they're currently doing the action away from the speaker, we use iku. But if the action is already finished, we use the past form itta. Okyakusama ga dete itta. Another example, the kite is flying away. So right now, it's the speaker can see it going farther and farther from his position. So we say, tako ga. Our verb is to fly, which is tobu. So we change this to te form. Tonde, going away from the speaker is iku. Tako ga tonde iku. Tako ga tonde iku. Another example, the criminal ran to that direction. Hannin wa, our verb is to run, which is hashiru. So we say, achie, so that direction, achie hashitte. Again, it's in the past tense, going away from the speaker's point of view. So we use itta. Hannin wa achie走っていた. 犯人はあっちへ走っていた. Next example, the dolphins are swimming towards us. So the action is towards the speaker. いくらが the dolphins, our verb is to swim, 泳ぐ. So we change it to te form. 泳いで, and then it's coming, it's towards the speaker, so we use the 来る. So to come. いくらが泳いでくる. いくらが泳いでくる. So currently the speaker is seeing the action happening. Our next example, a cute girl moved in next door or toward the speaker. かわいい女の子がA cute girl, 隣に next door or the house next to the speaker. 隣に our verb is 引っ越しする to move a house. So we change this to 引っ越しして plus the action that indicates the action is towards the speaker, which is くる. So here we use the past form because the action already happened. 引っ越ししてきた. かわいい女の子が隣に引っ越ししてきた. Dad said he's coming home early today, but he hasn't come home yet. お父さんは今日 Our verb is to come home 帰る早く帰ってくるって So 早く early 帰って to come home 来る So toward the speaker 帰ってくるって So we are just using what we've learned from the previous lesson to quote what someone has said, which is 何々って帰ってくるってでもまだ帰ってこない So this is the negative of 来る来ないお父さんは今日早く帰ってくるってでもまだ帰ってこない Okay, and lastly is again 何々てくる or in this case it becomes 何々てきた So this is a special situation. This indicates that an event or something happened and consequently because of this, something became noticeable or gradually can be perceived by our senses. So it basically means to become or to start. So how do we use this pattern? We just use the verb in te form plus kuru or in this case, kita. For example, it grew dark and the stars became visible. 暗くなって星が Our verb is 見える to be able to see something or to be visible. So we change this to te 見えて and then we use kita because from not being able to see something it became visible. 暗くなって星が見えてきた So it became perceivable. From not being visible it became visible. So 見えてきた Another example, a good smell came wafting from the house next door. So meaning, you could smell something or be able to smell something. 隣の家から so coming from the house next door. So our verb is to smell something, 匂いがする。いい匂いが so a good smell, いい匂いがして so する becomes して and the smell is coming towards the speaker or the speaker was able to sense it or to perceive the smell. So we use 来た。隣の家からいい匂いがしてきた。Another example, on the morning of the autumn festival, the sound of drums from a distance can be heard. The sound of the drums came to the speaker. So we say, 秋祭りの朝、遠くから、so the morning of the matsuri or the autumn festival, from afar or from a distance, 太鼓の音が the sound of the drums. Our verb is be able to hear, which is 聞こえる. So we change it to te form, 聞こえて, and the sound came to the speaker or the sound traveled and the speaker was able to perceive it. So we add 来た。秋祭りの朝、遠くから太鼓の音が聞こえてきた。Next example, the sky has been getting brighter. The rain will stop soon. 空が the sky. So our verb is 明るくなる to become brighter. So we change this to te form. 明るくなって So again we add 来た or in this case 来ましたね。空が明るくなってきましたね。So the speaker is talking to someone. And because of that, もうすぐ雨が止むでしょう。The rain will stop soon. And last example, it has became hotter. 暑くなって So from 暑くなる、暑くなってきた。暑くなってきた。Okay? But if you want to say it will get hotter from now on, we cannot say 暑くなってくる。Okay? Which is this one, the present tense. In case of climate, we have to say it objectively because we cannot be sure about the weather, right? So, we cannot use 来る, but instead, we can say 暑くなっていく. So, objectively, it will, from being cold, it will move to the state where it's going to be hot. Okay? So, from cold state, it will go to a hot state. That's why いく. 暑くなっていく. So, it will get hotter from now on. So, again, describing the climate change objectively. Another example. I've come to like him. I've come to like him. So, we say, 彼のことが. So, to like someone is 好きになってきた。彼のことが好きになってきた。But if you want to say that, I think I will get to like him. So, you don't like him yet, but you think that you will go to that state where you like that person. So, we can say, 彼のことが好きになっていく。彼のことが好きになっていくと思う。彼のことが好きになっていくと思う。First, let's review what we've learned from the intermediate lesson 5, which is a and so, which are contextual demonstrative pronoun in spoken situation. So, for example, do you have the textbook called Japanese for Everyone? Minna No Nihongo という教科書を持っていますか? B says, no, what kind of textbook is that? So that refers to Minna No Nihongo. Okay, so instead of repeating it, we use the pronoun or the demonstrative pronoun that. いいえ、それはどんな教科書ですか? So again, if the thing is unknown to one of the speakers, we use それは. However, for example, why don't we have your party at Watami Bar? パーティーはワタミ居酒屋にしませんか? Oh, it's the bar that opened last month. I heard the food there is delicious. So here we can say that both the speakers, the listener and the speaker know the place. So there refers to Watami Izakaya. So the food there referring to the Watami Izakaya. ああ、先月できた居酒屋ですね。あそこの料理は. So here, since the shop is known to both the listener and the speaker, we use あそこの料理は美味しそうですね。あそこの料理は美味しそうですね。And we've also learned so for contextual demonstrative pronoun in written form. For example, a popular British novel was translated into Japanese. It has become a bestseller in Japan this year. So it refers to the popular British novel. イギリスの人気小説が日本語に翻訳されました。それが、それ that refers to this book. 今年日本でベストセラーになりました。Again, それ refers to イギリスの人気小説。Now, we can use こ for contextual demonstrative pronoun that indicates something that appears later in a sentence. So up to this point, we've learned pronouns that refers to what has already been mentioned in the previous sentence. But now, we are going to use the pronoun first, and then the thing that it describes will appear later. For example, this or something like this was written in the newspaper. Apparently, Japanese families these days enjoy playing video games together on their days off. 新聞にこんなこと、So here, こんなこと、something like this が書いてあった is written. So こんなこと refers to 最近の日本人は家族みんなで休日にビデオゲームを楽しむそうだ。So again, こ refers to what will appear later in the sentence. はい、お疲れ様でした。今日のレッスンはどうでしたか？ I hope you learned something today. If you find this lesson helpful, make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more lessons like this. And if you want to support this channel even more, please consider becoming my Patreon to my Patreon page where you can find the lesson PDF and vocabulary list for this lesson. And to all my Patreons, 本当にありがとうございます。Okay, that's it for today's lesson. I will see you in the next one. またねー。Special shout out to our elite scholars, Cornelius, Kaylee, and to our study buddies, Paul, Taras, Jimmy, and Stephanie. And to all our Patreons, 本当にありがとうございます for your continued support.